Good morning, grade 10 in Al-Mujtama Private School. How are you? Our lesson today, grammar. Past simple versus present perfect. Let's start with the school vision. To prepare creative, well-educated students who are able to establish civilized, aware, reserved society. Stick to the authentic morals and values in addition to using the modern technology. Our value for this week, as you know, is devotion. Let's start our lesson. Using the strategy of correct the mistakes, read the following sentences and correct the 7 spelling mistakes. Take your time, pause the video, present your own answers, then come back to me to compare your answers with mine. Have you finished? Let's check. Mutaz Barsham was given the perfect name. Mutaz means proud, and as one of the best high jumpers of all times, he is the pride of Qatar and the Arab world. Our first object to talk about past actions using present perfect by correcting the verbs in brackets in the correct form using grammar reference page 80. Present perfect simple. We use present perfect simple for actions which happened in the past, but we don't mention when exactly. For example, I've traveled to Colombia twice. Notice that there is no time mentioned. 2. We use present perfect for a state which started in the past and continues up to the present. Mark has had this car since September. You know, verb have is stative. To make an affirmative form from present perfect, just add has or have plus past participle. I have worked. He has slept. To make a question in present perfect simple, use has or have, then the subject, then the past participle. Have you worked? Has she slept? To make negative forms, just add not to has or have. They haven't worked, it hasn't slept. You can use these time expressions always, ever, never, before, once, twice, many times, so far, just recently, lately, for, since, already, yet. And there is difference between have been to and have gone to. Have been to means have visited and come back. Have gone to means have not returned yet. For example, I have been to the shopping center twice this year. John isn't here. He's gone to the shopping center. Now, check this worksheet. Number 1. My father is on the way. He, excellent, hasn't arrived yet. He hasn't arrived yet. Question 2. I have never been to Paris. I've never been to Paris. 3. Question in the present perfect. Of course, you are going to use have. Have you ever been to New York? 4. I'm still working. I haven't finished my work yet. Excellent. Correct the verbs in brackets. She has won many awards for her books. 2. The question in the present perfect. Have you ever been to Australia? Excellent. 3. Since is time expression which is used for present perfect also. We have lived here since I was a boy. Now think about these two questions. Khalid, already, yes, it's time expression for the present perfect. So Khalid has already finished his homework. And the second sentence so far also is time expression is used for the present perfect. My friends has or have spent all their money so far. Another part of our lesson today, past simple. We use the past simple for actions that started and were completed at a specific time in the past. Of course, using the past time expressions. And here is the difference between the past simple and present perfect. The time expression itself. For example, we bought our house 5 years ago. We use past simple also for habitual or repeated actions in the past. I always went to bed early when I lived with my parents. We use past simple for completed action that happened one after the other in the past. I made a sandwich, turned on the TV, and watched the match. And finally, we use past simple for permanent situations in the past. I lived in London for 20 years. And notice that the past simple of the verb can is could, and the past simple of the verb to be is was or were. How can you get the second for? For irregular verbs in the past simple, don't take ed. Just memorize them from the list in the back of the book. And how can we form the past simple tense? For the regular verbs, just add d or ed or ied. I worked. For irregular, you can memorize them. He slept. For making question, use the word did plus infinitive or the bare infinitive of the verb. Did you work? Did you work? Did she sleep? For negative, in the past simple, they didn't work, it didn't sleep. And here are time expressions for the past simple tense: yesterday, in years or centuries, in the past, last night, last month, last Friday, etc., 2 days ago or a week ago or any period ago. Read and fill in gaps using past simple. She lived in Doha. My brother sold his car. We bought our house 5 years ago. I went to bed every early when I lived with my parents. I made a sandwich and watched the match. Now complete the sentences in the correct past simple form. The boys, excellent. Here is the time expression of past simple, last. So it will be the boys played, just add ed. She was happy. The past of verb to be is was for singular. She was happy because she won the game. Rashid, negative form, didn't. Rashid didn't go to school yesterday. And my dad arrived home late last night. I had a terrible accident at Sawa Road last year. Exercise B. Read the examples again and complete the rules with the correct tenses. Use present perfect for an action which happened in the past but the exact time is not mentioned. Use present perfect for an action or state which started in the past and continues up to the present. And finally, use the past simple for an action which happened in the past and the exact time is mentioned. Now the second objective, to practice present perfect and past simple by rewriting the verbs in brackets in the correct forms. Exercise, see page number 36. Number 1. Always is a time expression which is used for the present perfect. So I have always liked traveling. So here you express a state started in the past and continues up till the present. I have always liked traveling and experiencing new things, which is why 2 months ago I decided to try something different. 5 years ago, Mark, a friend of mine, had the idea of traveling to different countries while working at the same time. So far, he has visited 10 different countries, including countries like Finland and Argentina. I liked the idea, and so I decided to do the same thing. I chose to go to New Zealand. I started working here 2 months ago, and I feel like it's a unique way to learn about a different culture without spending a lot of money. I'm working on a horse farm, so I've learned how to take care of horses as well as how to ride a horse. Of course, I have never lived on a farm before, so this experience has been very educational for me. Now I'm thinking about where to go next year. I think that both, yeah, great, but and there is the word yet in the end. I haven't decided. Great, good. Let's close our lesson. Rewrite the verbs in brackets in the correct form. Highlight the word yet. It's a time expression which is used for the present simple. Of course, in the negative form it will be I haven't decided. And the time expression before, it's also used for the present perfect. I have never lived on a farm before. Thank you, dear students, for listening and for your attention. It's time to say goodbye to you and see you next lesson, inshallah.